Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Scrubs and Suits with afsha. This is the podcast for medical professionals and entrepreneurs, specifically foreign graduate medical professionals who are absolutely crushing it in the United States and leading successful lives. To help anybody who might be in their shoes to adopt some traits that they have followed and to help them lead successful lives and pursue their dream careers over here in the United States of America. I know I have been out for a while. Multiple things were going on in my life. I delivered a baby back in December. He's finally starting to grow up. And here I am recording another episode of Scrubs and Suits. Today, I'm in conversation with a very special guest who has been a great help through his Facebook group where he helps foreign graduate pharmacists to pass all these exams over here in the United States. He was a graduate from University of Punjab back in 2013 and he passed all his exams and now working as a licensed pharmacist over here in the United States in the beautiful, beautiful state of California. He has worked for big names like Walgreens, Rite Aid, and currently serving as a pharmacy manager for Sam's Club. He is a wonderful human being and I'm so excited to have him on board on this podcast today to learn from him how he made to the country of dreams and help others who might be in their shoes to adopt and learn some traits that he followed. Hello, Omair. How are you? Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much, Afsha, for inviting me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. So tell us about yourself. What do you do? I gave my listeners a little bit of introduction of yours, but I would love to know from you what your goals are, where are you working at the moment, and what exactly is going on.
My name is Omair. I graduated in 2015 from Punjab University, and I came to America. No, I actually graduated in 2013, and I came here late 2014. Uh, Started, doing all the licensing process and everything, and then got licensed around like late end of 2017. And since then, I'm working. I've worked at different locations. It's a community pharmacy, so I've been a community pharmacist for almost 10 years, 9 years now.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So how was your journey as a foreign graduate over here? How did you find it in the country of dreams?
It was actually very transparent. It was full of excitement, and I mean, I was nervous too. Uh, it was actually filled with challenges and a lot of growth. I mean, initially when I got the visa in 2015, I was very excited and I was actually very nervous at the same time.
I know. I had the same
Uh,
feeling.
I have been planning to come to America since I was about to graduate. It was in my fifth prof. My brother was already here, and I
Oh,
wanted to come here. And but I wasn't expecting that I will get the visa.
oh,
Because
okay.
there was a lot of rejections at that point. A lot of people were getting rejected
Back
in
in
their
2013, you
interviews.
said, right? Or 2015, sorry.
2015,
2015.
initially, some of my classmates they applied for the visa and they got it, and then a lot of people started applying and they found out, they're like, oh my God, where all these, pharmacists are going, and then they started rejecting the visas. So we were very nervous. I still remember that night when I went to the embassy to take my visa interview.
But you
It was
passed.
nerve-wracking. And I was, like I said, I wasn't expecting, but then I got it. And now I was super excited and nervous, I have been planning, but suddenly all of a sudden, boom, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And what am I gonna do now? Everything new, this whole process,
I
going
know
to
it's
another
an entirely
country.
different thing I mean, you said you're from University of Punjab, right? I
Yeah.
was from University of Karachi, but it's an
Mm,
entirely different thing how they practice medicine back in Pakistan, right? Over
of
here,
course,
it's
yeah.
it's completely different. So,
That's what I felt when I started working here.
uh-huh.
And then at that point I realized, I really need to educate my juniors, and I try to educate them like to focus, because
Uh-huh.
our focuses were not right when we were studying.
I know.
We were just it was just
It
we
was
were
just
we
it
were just trying to
was
pass the exams.
I know, right? That's what I keep talking about in my YouTube videos as well. We were just to rectify all those notes and just get done with the exams. That's all our
Exactly.
focus was about. But over here, it's an entirely different thing. And
Yeah.
if somebody listening to this podcast or watching this podcast right now, and they might be in their fourth or third, fifth prof, and they're just like reading the notes and rectifying the notes to pass the exam, it's not going to get the job done. Even you cannot even pass FPGEE, the first exam, if you're studying the way we used to study back in Pakistan. So it's
exactly.
completely different over here. Yeah. But how did you actually, I would love to know how did you pursue your licensure exams? Like how long did it take for you to study for them? Did you take any help? How did you feel about it? Was it frustrating? Did you fail in the first attempt, or maybe you passed in the first attempt? How was it?
So for us, all of us, so we were like 10 people, 12, all of my classmates. I was the only one in California. Most of my classmates, they were in New York, but we were all connected. We had personally, so for us, FPGEE was not, I think it wasn't hard, you know. And we studied about 6 months, I want to say, 6 months or so. We there were a few books that they said. I mean, I think that those didn't help at all. Most of it, we had a chance to actually. I actually had a chance to work at an independent pharmacy when I came here, and that helped me a lot.
By
That
independent pharmacy, do you mean like a private pharmacy, like not the
Yeah,
like
a
the big
private
names?
pharmacy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. Yeah. No, because at that point I didn't really have I couldn't work. So it was kind of like in a volunteership kind of thing.
Okay.
It was nice enough. The owner was nice enough to accommodate me, and I was able to work as a volunteer there. So
Okay.
that helped me a lot. How they manage, how they run their operations. So basically, and then a major part of the exam I felt that was calculations, and that helped a lot too. So management and calculations. So we were able to pass the exam. Most of us were able to pass the exam. But to be honest, when I took the exam, when I came out of the exam center, I felt like, oh my God,
It's gonna fail.
I had, oh, of course, no, to be honest, I didn't even know if we are going to pass or fail. So I remember my brother asked me, it was just 6 months I was here in this country. He asked me, how did it go? And I was
Oh,
like,
so
I don't
you
know.
so you so you like passed like right away? You came here and
Yeah, yeah,
six
yeah.
months into oh. So were you
Yeah,
studying for
so
it back in
no,
Pakistan too, or?
yeah. So I started studying when I was in Pakistan. So I started studying when I applied for the visa. I didn't even get the visa, but even got before the visa, I started studying for it. There was a APHA book, they had the FPGE book, so we started studying there. And I came in August, and the exam was in October. So I studied about a month and a half here, and then I took the exam,
And you
you know,
passed.
uh, and I passed it. Yeah,
That's cool. But you
yeah,
you know what? You're right about the point of working in a private pharmacy. When I moved over here, I didn't volunteer. It was a volunteer kind of thing, but I got this pharmacy technician trainee certificate. And
mhm,
then I volunteered for a private firm, a private pharmacy. He had
yeah,
like 50 prescriptions or so in a day, but that helped me a lot, Omair. Like, I had no clue how things work over here. I had no clue that you have to take the ID for a person who's taking dextromethorphan, maybe. I had no clue that tramadol was a controlled substance. Because I was never working in Pakistan in a pharmacy. I have worked as an assistant pharmacist in one of the hospitals, but not like a proper community pharmacy. So things were very different over here. And I believe you have benefited a lot from that too, right? In working in the private
yeah,
pharmacy.
definitely, yeah, definitely. It really actually you open your mind. So it,
Yeah.
it you open your mind, and then you think you see things differently. Okay, so we were very lucky, to be honest. Like all of my friends, I feel like we were very lucky. We None of us actually failed any of the exams. So, but we failed. We had such a hard time taking TOEFL.
I
Okay,
know.
it
I
was
hear that a
actually it
lot.
was a nightmare. It was a
I hear that a
nightmare,
lot.
literally.
Yeah, because you know what?
Seriously, it
It's
was
not an
just
English exam anymore, Omer. Even if you're like
yeah.
fluent and
They
native
made
in
it a lot
English,
easier now.
no, but they have like these certain requirements. You have to take 22 in listening, and writing should be 23. And I have so many people coming to
Exactly.
me and telling me, oh, we missed 1 mark and we have to start all over again. And now they have changed
Yeah.
the requirements. Like back then when I was studying for FPGE, you had to take FPGE first and then TOEFL second. But now you have to take TOEFL
Exactly.
first and then
Yeah.
only you qualify for FPGE. So there's so many
Yeah.
folks out there who are stressed
That
over it.
that's actually yeah, I mean, we were too. So I was actually it's a funny thing. So I was in California, and I passed my FPG, and now I have taken my TOEFL twice, and I failed it. Speaking, 24, 25. I was stuck at 20, and I did not know what to do. Like I thought I was doing everything right, and I wasn't actually. Now I know what I was doing wrong, but at that point, I thought
What were you
I'm doing
doing wrong?
everything right. I wasn't focused. I wasn't practicing enough, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't so I felt so the basic key to pass this exam is if you take this exam as an exam, you know.
Yeah.
Most of us we just go and try our luck, you know. We just say, okay, we can do it. You
We
know,
can do it. Yeah.
we
We
do
know
not
English
do
well. We can
yeah,
do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, we can speak. Oh, it's not a
The
big deal, you know.
Yeah. No, you know what? The biggest challenge that I faced was in the listening part because when
Yeah.
you are listening, there are some people who might be going through the speaking section and they're talking in your back, and I could hear them over my headphones,
Uh,
and I literally missed an entire passage in listening just because of this. But thank God I passed. But this is one thing that I have two friends who have failed TOEFL just because of this thing. Like because when they're listening to this computer
yeah.
speaking the passage in their ears, they have other people
Mhm.
in the background doing the speaking section, and that
Yeah.
creates a lot of
Yeah. But
So,
that's exact. I mean, I get your point, but
but that
I feel like
exactly
that's
come down.
how to
That's how
practice.
it's, yeah, but that
Yeah.
exactly I'm trying to make your point stand out here, that
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to take it as an exam, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
So,
have to study. You have to literally study for it 8 hours a day, like you would study for
and
everything else,
practice,
you know?
practice, practice, practice,
Yeah.
practice.
Public place. Go to a public place. That's what or just go to a Starbucks. Or I don't know if you're here, go to a Starbucks, you know, do your practice. There's a lot of noise, you know. So
Yeah,
that actually helps you focus, you know, like because if you're just sitting in your room or in a library where
you're right.
everything,
You
you know,
have a
is so
point. Yeah,
quiet, you actually you're not
agree.
you may have different conditions or factors that come into play when you're actually taking the exam in the room, you know.
Of course. Yeah,
Well,
love
it
it.
was a nightmare. I swear to God, I have never experienced such thing in my life. It
But
was just
I'm meeting somebody for the very first time who thinks FPGE was easy, Netflix was easy, and then you guys have CPJE, I think, the law exam for
yeah,
California.
CPJ, yeah.
That's easy.
It's a brand new thing. It's a brand new thing. You have never studied any of, I don't know about Karachi University, but I'm from Punjab University, you know, and I can tell like we have never studied
No, we have never
anything,
studied that, Edgar. Yeah,
yeah, that way, you know. It was a
because
brand new, full new
Netflix is completely
stuff for
clinical,
us.
Omair,
Pharm
and
Pharmacotherapy, yeah.
where I come from, I don't know about Punjab University. I've heard very good reviews about that one, but in Karachi University, it was completely different. They only teach you. They don't only teach you industrial, but more like 80% of the courses are being covered by industrial pharmacy, and then like maybe 20% is clinical. And over here you get to see clinical a lot, so that's where things start getting tricky, and I am terrible in calculations, so
I don't
yeah.
know, maybe, I mean, I think we got lucky, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we
No, you
studied,
guys you guys are talented. I mean, you said you have 10 friends and all of them pass.
yeah,
Not 10
yeah,
people
most of
can
them.
get lucky at the same time, right? You guys must
Yeah,
have
most of
worked
them
hard.
passed, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them passed, yeah. But then, yeah, we had a hard time in TOEFL, like we really hard time.
Really? So
I know
how many
people.
attempts did you take in TOEFL?
Oh, I personally took 6 attempts. I took six, but yeah, I mean, still, it's not bad at all, you know. And I know people that took like more than 20 attempts too, you
Are
know.
you kidding?
Yeah, I know. Seriously, we were okay.
I mean,
So it's a
I'm
funny
not trying to
story.
shame you, but this is.
No, 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 no. I have no shame telling this, you
I
know,
have seen,
because
because
I
you know
really,
what, Omer, why I'm asking you this, because I've seen people who have taken like two attempts and they're like, we are done. We need to go industrial pharmacy. We
oh
can't do
no,
it. Well, you should be an inspiration.
no.
Six
I mean,
attempts.
personally, I appreciate, I mean, I really appreciate all of my friends who were really consistent, you know.
I know.
And this is one of the key that ha you have to be consistent. All of them are practicing pharmacists now,
Oh,
but you know, I really appreciate all of them. Like, you know, they have done a great job, you know. I mean, they were so consistent. I took a gap. So the reason why I took 6 attempts were I wasn't consistent at all in taking the exams. I had to actually so I was in California and I had to face a lot of difficulties finding internship and stuff because when I was here in back in 2015, 16, not a lot of pharmacies here knew about foreign graduates. You know, they were very reluctant in hiring us. They were
oh,
like, okay, you know, how does it work? You know, how do you get your hours done? What are you gonna do next? You know,
oh,
and
really?
we consider, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factor coming to play.
How
I
how
mean,
how many how many hours do you guys have to do like in California? We have like 1600, 1700,
1500,
1500.
1500.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to go to New Hampshire to do my internship because
Oh,
that was one of the states that did not require TOEFL to get the license. So we were just so desperate, you know. So we were just trying to save some time. So I was like, okay, so I'm just sitting home doing nothing. Why don't I start my internship, you know? And then while I do my internship, I'll keep taking my TOEFL. So, I mean, by the end of my internship, if I pass my exam, you know, I'll save at least a year because 1,500 hours, it takes
it's almost
almost
a
a
year.
year for you to
Almost
do
a
it.
year, full time. Yeah.
Yeah. And while I was doing the internship, I knew I flew back to California
Gosh.
that day, and I came back to New Hampshire 2 in the morning, and my exam was at 8 o'clock. I just it was just New Hampshire was it was winter, so we got a lot of snow there. So it was snowing really bad. It was a blizzard, and I went to this
Boy.
exam center, and I took my exam,
And this is
and I
Netflix.
remember
And this is
no, this is
Netflix.
TOEFL.
This
This
is
is
TOEFL. I'm
TOEFL.
sorry. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
TOEFL.
TOEFL. So I actually came out of the exam center
Uh-huh.
and I called my friend and I was like, "Hey, say, how did it go?" I was like, I think the speaking part really went well this time, but I'm not sure about listening because I feel like I missed a lot. I never fail listening, but I feel like I missed a lot of listening, you know. But then when the result came and I
You
passed, and I was
pass.
like, "Oh my
Oh
God,
my
thank
God.
goodness!" And I took that
Oh my
exam
God.
almost after a year from the last attempt.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
But
I
you
did
know,
not.
consistency, and this was the your um your delegation,
Yeah.
your dedication to the field of pharmacy. I mean, you're truly inspirational, brother. This is I didn't know about this. That's so cool. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
So,
really
but I mean
appreciate you
now,
sharing this. I mean, and I'm sure people who are listening to this and listening to your this podcast right now must be finding you very inspirational. Like I've seen people, I mean, people DM me and stuff and email me and stuff, and there are people who are like taking it for like the second time and third time, and they're like, we're done. It's not for us.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
just
there
gotta
are
be
people like
consistent, you know. Yeah, you just
and
gotta be
dedication. You
consistent,
know,
and you'll
Omair,
do it. Yeah,
dedication. It's hard.
yeah,
It's hard. Once you're out of school, it's hard, but only dedication and consistency can get you there, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, do you have any tips for somebody who might be in your shoes, like maybe a foreign graduate who might be listening to this show or watching this podcast? Do you have any tips for them to like start preparing in advance, maybe in the final prof, or like start in the fourth prof, or whatever it is? What do you think you should do? They should do.
They actually, start. I would really encourage them to start when they're in the final prof. St Start studying more pharmacotherapy. Look into more management. Try to explore other. If they really wanted to come to US, there are so many resources. Um, there are actually they actually on their website, on the Board of Pharmacy's website and ABP, they have the course outline. They kind of tell you what they're gonna ask you, what's gonna be on your exam. So they need to start focusing. They really need to look at that, and then they need to start studying accordingly, you know, instead of just randomly just look everywhere. So just be focused and be determined and seek a mentor. I feel like it really helps. It really helps. So yeah, because when we came, a few of my friends came before us, and they really helped us. They really helped us. They kind of guided us where to go, what to do. And I feel like your platform with this podcast, all of this is actually a huge help, to all these people. This is amazing. Not a lot of people do that. They have actually experienced a lot of people that actually they don't want to share, and they just want to keep it to themselves.
I know. I don't know why people
Uh,
do that. I mean,
I have no idea,
in
but
this age of
I'm
social media, it's not like we're gonna rob them of their jobs or something.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know why do they do that, but I mean, I really appreciate you doing this podcast. That
No,
it's gonna
I'm
really help
also very
everybody.
thrilled to look at your platform. And if anybody watching doesn't know about it, Omair has a separate Facebook group designed for foreign graduate pharmacists, where he himself helps people just like you and me to pass all these exams and answer all these exam related questions and resources related questions. He has been running this group since 2015, Omair, right?
Yeah, yes,
2015, and I'll share a link to the group in the show notes down below. And if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, I'll share it in the video description down below for you guys to check it out.
and
Okay.
also, yeah, this mentor and set your goals, set your goals, short term, long term, you
Yeah,
know. Don't listen to people. They will discourage you. They will, oh, it's
I
gonna be
know.
hard. It's a tough life. It will
People
be,
have always something bad to say. There are
yeah, there
very
will
few amount
be,
of people, Omer, who encourage you.
yeah,
And
there
trust
will
me,
be a,
most of them would be like, it's not for you. Don't do it.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh, I know exactly, but because this is what we do, we're really good at it.
yeah, we're
We're,
really
we're
good at it.
just, we're really good
Giving
at passing
opinions.
comments, discouraging people,
And giving opinions. Free
yeah,
opinions.
exactly.
Free
So do
opinions.
not listen to anybody who tells you you cannot do it. You can definitely do it. You just need
No,
patience
if you can,
and
if others can, I
definitely.
mean, we're not somebody who's like out of space, right? Or out of
Exactly.
Mars, right? We are same people like Mango people who might be watching this show right now or listening to this show right now.
Mhm.
So this is the country of dreams. There are a million options, Omer, to explore too. You just need to have the
Definitely.
dedication and consistency to do it. But how do you find retail pharmacy, like in general? Like, what are the challenges you face? Because I think I've worked for like 3, 4 years in the pharmacy, but
Hmm.
not as a pharmacist. Over here in the US, I've worked as a pharmacy technician, and it has been crazy. I've worked for Kroger. I did work for CVS as well. I was in their corporate office. I have worked for a private firm, and I believe there was one more pharmacy. But how do you find about it? Like, how, what are the challenges that you face as a pharmacist day to day?
As I have been a community pharmacist since I got licensed, I have worked at I've worked with different organizations. I worked with Walgreens, I have worked with Rite Aid, now I'm working with Sam's, it's a Walmart company. They, well, we actually, I think it depends, the stress level. Sometimes, working in a community pharmacy, it could be very stressful, there's a high workload, high expectations, it's a customer-based job, so you have to communicate with people, patient communication. That can be challenging sometimes, And so you're coming from another country, you have zero clue about the regulations, compliance. All you do is to study a book and take the exam. But that doesn't, I mean, you get to know the law and everything, but when actually you're able to pass the exam, but when actually practicing, it can get sometimes a little bit challenging to keep track of these regulations and compliances,
And
issues that
you
you
have to
know,
keep studying, right? There are CME
yeah, yeah,
credits that you need to take.
exactly. I was gonna get to that point. There's a continuously learning. So when you renew your licenses every 2 years and stuff, there are certain CE requirements that every board of pharmacy has. You have to do certain hours to renew your license. So that's actually it. That actually help you keep and with the community pharmacy, you get to see a lot of trends. These days the weight loss thing is common these days. So you get to study about Monjaro, Zepbound, and all these fun things that are happening in US these days. So this you get to know all of these things. So I mean, it's challenging but yet rewarding. It's one of the highly paid, part of the community pharmacy is very highly paid. So whoever is listening, don't discourage. I mean, well, you will love your paycheck.
I know, right?
Yeah, you will love it, you
That's
know.
gonna motivate you. Don't worry about
Exactly.
it.
That's the biggest motivation. Whenever it's gonna chin chin, that paycheck is gonna hit your bank, you're gonna feel very good.
You're gonna be like, I'm gonna do it for 1 more month.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yep.
it's hard as far as the physical exertion is concerned because when I was working and I used to see all these pharmacists and even as a technician,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a law thing, Omer, but you have to keep standing. That was
Uh,
one thing that like
no, I mean, it really depends on where you work at.
really I used to work in Kroger and they used to make
Uh-huh.
me stand like because at that time I think I was 6 months, 7 months pregnant,
Oh,
and
wow.
I think I had like two spinal injuries at that time. So I
Oh,
had
wow.
a huge disc bulge in L4 and I had a
Uh-huh.
huge disc bulge in L5. So there is some kind of sciatica going on as well,
Hmm.
and they wouldn't let me sit. Like I don't know,
Wow.
maybe that was because I was a technician only,
And I did see the
No.
pharmacist sitting here and there, but not like for long hours. But as far as
Mhm.
the corporate, because now I'm in industry, and industry job is like, I like industry better. But tell me about it. Like, do you find it a lot of physical exertion working in a community pharmacy? Do you have to like keep standing as a pharmacist? That's just a myth.
No, I mean, it really depends where you work at. I mean, I'm really surprised,
Really?
that and then you were pregnant and
Yeah.
they didn't let you sit. I mean, that's terrible. But because I mean, you basically don't if you're working at a high volume store, you basically don't have time to sit as a pharmacist.
Exactly.
Tech. You
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
even if you want to, you can't. There are some times that you don't even have time to actually take your
Take
lunch break,
lunch.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's
but
crazy.
then but then on the other side, where I'm working right now, it's a very slow-paced store, like super slow-paced, like and we basically, sit all day. My tech stick, sit, and I don't have any problem, because I mean, we catch up pretty soon, and then rest of the day we just kind of go with the flow. It really
Oh,
dep
okay.
yeah,
So it
and
depends
then
on the stores,
everybody's
huh?
sitting. It
It
depends on
depends
the
on the
store, it
stores.
depends on your organization.
So
But I feel
maybe
like
because Kroger was very busy, like we hardly had
yeah,
time to do
that must
lunch.
be
We were
exactly.
very busy. So yeah, that's one part. But I believe the most lucrative part for a community pharmacist is the patient interaction. You don't get to see that
Exactly.
much in industrial pharmacy. It's just you and the computer.
It's
But the
yeah,
patient interaction is there. I know. So
yeah. It's just the care, the patient care, and the impact that you make it in the community.
yeah,
It's what is actually
it's
because
huge.
we're it's exactly because I have now everybody I know patients by their name. They know me. And it's just the relationship that I built over a period of time with
Yeah,
them. And
yeah.
this is actually sometimes you're able to actually help them. For example, you catch their allergies. You don't let them get their antibiotics because they were allergic to it.
Yeah.
There were certain medications that were interacting with each other, and you caught the interaction. You had the doctor change the medication. They really appreciate you, giving them because you are actually as a community pharmacist. One thing is you are actually their first person to re the first and the easiest person to reach at. The if healthcare as a healthcare professional. They don't have
Yeah.
to make an appointment. They don't
Yeah.
have to huge lines. They don't have to be on hold for so long.
Yeah.
They can just
Yeah. I
call
mean,
you and then you
for
can just
anybody
give
who
them the
might be
basic
listening,
and
yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but for
it's okay. No.
anybody, I'm so sorry, but for anybody who might be listening, I mean, if they're in any other part of the world and they haven't seen healthcare in America, it's really not easy to get hold of doctors over here. There are
Yeah.
huge waitlist times, and especially if you're going for a subspecialty like neurology or, for example, psychiatry or maybe some kind of surgery, it's hard to get a hold of the doctors, and the first person you get to meet is your pharmacist. So yeah, I totally get your point, and I really appreciate it. You shared, Omair.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just, like I said, it's rewarding, it's challenging,
Yeah, it
but
feels good.
uh
That's
but I
that's
love
what
it.
we study so much for, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But how
Yeah.
exactly do you feel about the healthcare in America? I mean, I know it's different from other parts of the world. You work in the system for a very long time now. How do you find it different from the country that you come from? Or how do you find the healthcare in America in general? Like,
It's it's I mean
I think I got
healthcare
my
in
answer.
America, I know. I have no nice words to to say about healthcare system in America. But as far as if we're talking about if we're just talking about the pharmacy world, I think I mean, as a business perspective, it's very challenging, As a business point of view, it's very challenging. I mean, not a lot of pharmacists are surviving here. There's a PBMs, all these big pharmacy benefit managers, whoever's PBM is basically like an insurance thing, whoever's listening. So it's insurance, it's a government, and
A
then there's
pharmacy business
insurance, and
manager,
then
right?
there's a consumer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody has insurance here. So the government gives them money, they get money from you, and then they don't give you the money back. Even though, like for example, if you purchase something for $5, they won't even give you $5 back. They will give you $3. So the pharmacy business perspective, the healthcare system is not really, it's not, it's very bad. But as far as like the regulations and stuff, if I compare it with my country, it's more regulated.
Oh yeah, for
actually
sure.
very regulated,
For sure.
and the especially in the community pharmacy, there's a lot of laws, there's a lot of regulations.
Yeah,
They
the country
actually,
from where we come from, things are starting to change now.
Mhm.
But back then, when we were studying, or I don't know if you have practiced back in Pakistan, have you?
I did a little bit. I did a couple of community internships.
Things were very different over there, right,
Oh
Omer?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even I mean now I see I hear a lot of juniors talk about like consultations and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
back then there wasn't any
No, yeah.
such thing.
Yeah.
Now I mean here they have laws to protect the consumer, the patient. They have
Yeah.
regulations. They will do everything in their power to protect the consumer
Yeah.
from anything, and you have a huge liability. That's why you get paid more, is because you have liability, your
Mm-hmm.
license, you have very limited chances of making any mistakes. If it comes, I mean, you can make mistakes here and there, but if it gets to the patient and it cause any safety problem, then you're in trouble,
Then yeah,
You're in
your life
trouble
will
with
be
the board of
ruined.
pharmacy. Yeah, you're trouble with it depends on what kind of mistake you made. But you
I'll
get in trouble
share
with the
a
board of
small.
pharmacy.
Yeah, I'll share a small story over here just to prove your point. So I was
Mhm.
working as a technician back in Kroger. I believe this was like, I think 4 or 5 years ago. So I was a pharmacy technician trainee over there, and there were two pharmacists in charge. There was this Indian lady who was my pharmacist in charge, and I dispensed the wrong drug to this geriatric patient. I believe she was 68 years of. I don't remember the name of the drug, but it was a prescription medication, and I accidentally misread the name
Mhm.
of this lady, and I gave this medicine to this geriatric patient who was, I think, 68 years old. Thankfully, she didn't take it, but she came back to the pharmacy. She was in the drive-through pharmacy, right? So, Omer, she came back to the pharmacy like half an hour, and there were like five cops standing in front of me, asking me questions about it, and the head pharmacist was so worried that her license is going to be at stake because I was just the pharmacy technician trainee, like, but I was acting under her. And just
Yeah,
to prove your point, it was just this small mistake, but it could have cost her her life.
yeah,
And the cops were there and they started interrogating, and the entire thing took about like 2.5 hours. But that's
Mhm.
how strong the regulations over here are.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So
It's a nightmare. There's some I don't know, the fifth year prop people, they must know, the sound like look-alike drugs. We hear this terminology a lot, even though I mean when we were studying in pharmacy, we hear this a lot, but I have witnessed a lot of mistakes like this, and
it's a
they're
human
terrible.
error. I
Yeah,
mean, it happens, Omer, but
yeah,
it's not easy to like, because it can cost
exactly,
somebody their life, right?
exactly,
So yeah,
definitely.
and there has been a lot of incidents. I forgot the name of the book, but it used to list all those incidents that like cost people their lives just because the pharmacist made a teeny tiny mistake in the dosage, or
Yeah,
the
this
pharmacist made a
this
teeny tiny
pharmacy
mistake.
where I used to work at is actually on probation. It's because it's a thyroid drug. It's called methimazole,
Yeah.
and there is another methotrexate.
Oh
So she
no.
was on methimazole, got dispensed methotrexate. And this lady she took it for like 3 months. And then she started to feel like, oh, it's a lot of side effects, and then she went
Oh
into
no.
ER, got admitted in hospital. It was just a terrible thing. This pharmacist, thankfully, he didn't lose his license. His license is on probation. The
For
pharmacy
how
is on
long?
probation.
Oh
So it
no.
depends. It really depends. So if it like she didn't die, so that was a plus.
Thank God.
Uh,
But she took methotrexate for 3 months.
yeah, because I
There's a
mean
huge
they trust
difference.
pharmacists. That's the thing. That's the thing. They trust you.
They trust you,
They trust
exactly.
you.
They
They
trust you with
trust
their
you.
lives. They're trusting you with their
Exactly.
lives.
Exactly. So you get to hear this thing. That's the best part of the community pharmacy. They come to you and they tell you, if you tell something, they'll be like, "Oh, my doctor told me to go to the pharmacist, because you guys know more about drugs. And oh, I'm gonna ask you. I don't trust my doctor. I'm gonna ask you, what are the side effects? How do you? So you have to be very well educated. You can't just stand
You
there.
can't just say nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, right?
Everything.
You
Everything,
need to
because
know
now we are
everything,
already in
and you
the, yeah,
can't.
exactly.
But you know what, Umair? I think this is one good part. I mean, there are a million good parts of the AI, but this is where I think in the future AI is going to jump in. And like, I know I've seen those computer softwares where if you're dispensing the similar drug, it would pop up and tell you it's a similar drug. If you're dispensing, let's say, if whatever ABC drug, and it would there would be a notification pop up and it would tell you about the side effects of those drug, the common side effect of the drug, common dosages of those drugs. So I think this is somewhere where AI is going to jump in future, hopefully, and it's going to make the lives of pharmacists like you a little bit easier. What do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, to some extent,
To some
but
extent,
at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like AI has taken over this whole thing, especially in last year or so. But still, we haven't seen any implication. I mean, they must be doing something, but as far as my daily practice, we haven't seen any implementation of AI yet.
as
But
of
there's a
yet.
lot of, yeah, as of yet. But then there's a lot of Amazon and all these companies, big companies, they're actually going towards it. There's actually they have a lot of automated dispensers, where they don't even need a pharmacist. They just dispense the
Yeah,
drug. Amazon
yeah.
is doing all these crazy things.
I've
But I
seen
feel
those in
like,
hospitals. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like they do need a pharmacist. They do need a face,
No, there would
Actually,
always need a human. I mean, for the AI too,
yeah,
you need a human to drive it. As far as
yeah,
my knowledge goes, as of
yeah.
now, I think there would always be a need of human. But what do you think about the market in general? Do you think the pharmacy profession is becoming saturated, Umer?
No, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of them. So, right, it's not saturated at all. I mean, just okay. So there are some states, for in California. I'm in California, and about a couple of months ago, 6, 7 months ago, they were actually they were offering so many sign-on bonuses. They were offering sign-on bonuses, 100 grand, 50 grand
Yeah,
for
yeah.
pharmacists. There
They
was
do it
this
here
crazy
too.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
But
I,
still, I
I
mean, they are actually hiring, they really want to hire a lot of pharmacists, and I don't feel like it's saturated at all. So many opportunities.
Yeah, the salaries might vary from state to state, but yeah,
Yeah.
I feel the same. Even in industry pharmacy, like it's not saturated. It's very competitive though, but I don't think
Did
saturation
you
would
did
be.
you need any license or anything
No, you
to
you
to
do
get
not
into
need
industry?
no no no. You do not need a license to get into industry. I do have
Oh,
the
that's great.
FPGEE, yeah, but you do
Hmm.
not need any license. I've done the BCMS as well, but it's
Hmm.
really hard to get in. But I like it, Amer. I really enjoy it. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it sounds really good, but I mean that's another thing for all those listeners. They
Oh
can,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, if they want to go to this side of the,
Oh yeah.
field,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, there's
And it's
industry
good.
too.
It's good because everybody has different life conditions, right? So as far as my life conditions are, like I'm a mom of two and I work from home, which is like because I literally cannot go like you get up in the morning, go to the pharmacy, stay there for like 9 hours, and then come back to a house of disaster, and everything looks like it has exploded. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I have a 3 year old and I have a 5 month old, and trust me, it's not doable. So yeah, I think industry is for me. I enjoy it, but there are people who are like you. They like the patient interaction and everything. So it was really nice speaking with you, Mer. I would ask
Thank
one
you.
last question. How exactly are you helping the community and our junior friends who might be in the same shoes as we were a couple of years ago through your Facebook group? Like, how do you interact with them and stuff? What services do you offer, and how can anybody who might be listening or watching this podcast right now can benefit from it?
So I actually, like you mentioned earlier, I have a group on Facebook. I do updates. I post things. There are a lot of people ask questions, and I sometimes it's kind of the schedule gets a little bit busy, but I try to keep up with it. So I try to answer their questions to see if I can can be of help anyway. Uh, there's DMs that comes in. I help them, and
Or you
especially
reply
this
to DMs as
podcast.
well?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So and this podcast, I mean, this is gonna help a lot of people. And definitely, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I personally, try to engage, but with this just so hectic thing, I mean,
I
I'm not
understand.
able to like do this professionally, but I really appreciate you actually taking the time and do all of this, actually, this is a huge help. And I was going through your website, and I do see your courses that you offer for FPGE. They're amazing too. Yeah, I got a chance to actually look at it. And actually, we didn't have okay, so this is one of the things. We didn't actually, we passed it luckily, but we
Yeah.
didn't have that kind of help back then, But putting together all these things, actually, it's amazing what you did. And I really recommend all of the people that are listening and they wanted to come to US and they don't know where to study, so they can definitely go to your website. I think it's uh, Afsha, right?
Yeah, it's afsha.com. I'll put it
Afshalom.com,
in the
yeah.
show notes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so much. I
definitely. I'm
really,
so
really,
sorry for
really
remembering
appreciate it.
so much.
No,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah, no,
fine. I know
definitely.
you
Go
had
to
a
the
long day. I
website.
really appreciate you taking out the
Yeah.
time and speaking with me and the listeners
No,
today.
it's, yeah. Go
Really,
to
really appreciate it.
afshalom.com. Yeah, yeah, no. Go to the website and it's called afshalom.com. Yeah, check out her courses and everything. It's great resource. It's actually a whole guide to walk you guys through. You don't have to like, anywhere else. So study and take the exam. Be patient. It's a long journey. It's a hard journey. It's not easy, but you can do it. And you can do it, and it's very rewarding. So just consistency and patience, I think, is the main key.
Thank you so much, Omair. I would like to
Thank
thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with me. I know you had a long day, and I'll put for everybody who's listening or watching this podcast in real time. I'll put the link to Omair's Facebook group in the show notes down below. If you're watching this podcast, I'll put the link to Omair's Facebook group in the video description down below. For the link to my course, I'll put it down below as well. I'm taking a limited number of students this time. So the enrollment for FPGE 2024 October is open right now. Might close in a month or so. So yeah, don't forget to register if you fancy checking it out. And again, thank you very much, Omair. I hope we stay connected, and I hope to see you back soon, inshallah, on this podcast again.
Inshallah. Thank you, Afsha, for having me. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. Really appreciate it. You
Thank
have a wonderful day, Omair.
you as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.